People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
Good morning. Welcome to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm glad you tuned in. I'm your host, Jon Heischman. I want to discuss getting a second opinion. And this pertains to those that are getting ready to retire or in retirement that may not be sure of the advice they're getting. Many are happy and totally satisfied with their advisor, and that's great because relationship is the most important thing. However, there are those that they're just not sure. So, failure to seek counsel from a second source, you might say, is the granddaddy of all retirement planning mistakes. It is how many investors and retirees find themselves taking financial losses, possibly paying unnecessary taxes, penalties, fees, and loads. The IRA owner's worst enemy is bad advice offered by an unskilled, untrained advisor. Getting a second opinion regarding your wealth, your retirement income, is equally as critical as getting a second opinion about your health. Imagine during a routine checkup, your family doctor discovers something doesn't quite sound right with your heart. How would you feel if he said, make an appointment with my nurse to come in next week for open heart surgery? Now, you may faint at the thought of a family practitioner wanting to perform a surgery that he or she has no training to perform. The doctor is more likely to recommend that you visit a cardiologist to get a second opinion before anyone pulls out the chest cutter. This process is designed to get you to the right professional who is trained to perform the needed procedure. In the financial services industry, finding that right professional to give you a second opinion can be quite tricky and time-consuming. The reality is, though, that fees, loads, commissions associated with managing the trillions of dollars of Americans' retirement savings, believe me, is big business. You can be sure that most advisors have no intention of referring you to an IRA distribution specialist. They're not going to run the risk of losing your account, even if it is in your best interest to make the referral. Before choosing an advisor, get a second opinion. Understand that most advisors are not trained in the complex area of IRA distribution planning. To accomplish this, you should first understand the different types of financial professionals that you may encounter. In all areas today, specialization has taken over. And I'm not saying that's bad. It's good in most fields, but when we're talking about retirement planning, there's many areas involved. And I think the advisor and financial professional, especially today, need to be trained in all areas in the retirement planning process. If not, you're going to end up having 2 or 3 different advisors. I'll give you an example. There are advisors that focus on investments, but there are certain areas such as health insurance, Medicare, that they just don't do. So those that don't will refer you to a specialist in that area. Another example, we've all seen television commercials from advisory firms that say they don't do commissionable products because they are fiduciaries. First of all, I don't see how an advisor can do retirement planning without having access to commissionable products from insurance companies. Life insurance is a commissionable product. Long-term care commissions are paid to the advisor, and annuities, all form of annuities, are commissionable. These are 3 very important planning tools that the majority of retirees will have all or one in their retirement plan. As our firm does, and many, many other advisors in the Columbus area will have access to commissionable products from insurance companies and will write those products, and they are fiduciaries. Once again, if they don't do commissionable products, they'll have to refer those to another advisor or insurance professional that can and will write those products. Do you want another advisor? Now, if you do, that's fine. However, my personal experience has been over the many years I've been in practice, most retirees want one advisor that is educated and able to do both investment planning as well as commissionable products if needed and if it's in your best interest. And they're fiduciaries as we are at Heischman Financial Services. I think when picking an advisor and getting a second opinion, this is important if you want to work with one advisor or advisory firm. 888-426-0177. That's the number you can call to speak with me if you want a second opinion. If not, and you're happy with your current advisor, retirement planner, based on everything I've been discussing, that's great. You have a relationship. Continue with that advisor. If not, I'd love to hear from you. 888-426-0177. I can explain to you how we operate as independent advisors and answer your questions. You can also visit our website, HeischmanFS.com, HeischmanFS.com. HeischmanFS.com. There are situations where another professional has to be involved. Many times when we get into tax planning, we need to work with the CPA. Also, when we get involved in estate planning, elder law planning, we need an attorney that works in these areas. It's part of the team approach that makes up your advisory team. When the CPA and attorney are involved, it's because advisors, or I should say most advisors, can't and should not practice advanced tax planning or legal issues when it comes to estate planning, wills, and trust. Not to mention an elder law attorney that specializes in Medicaid planning that requires an attorney. What you don't want is to get into a situation where you have 2 or 3 advisors and they're not working together and end up giving conflicting investment advice and or insured products. That's when mistakes happen, and sometimes you don't get advice that is in your best interest. So I'm here to help with your questions and concerns and offer assistance if you're thinking about a second opinion. So let me give you the number one more time, 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. After the break, I'm going to give you, there's about 7 different basic categories of financial advisors and professionals. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. For more information, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. More of the Safe Money and Retirement Show in a moment. Your journey through life toward retirement can be a tricky path to navigate. A poor decision can lead to serious difficulty later in life. Choosing the right path requires the right help. Let Heischman Financial Services keep you on the path to a safe and secure retirement, one that's happy and plentiful. Call them today at 1-888-426-0177 or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. Click on their Ask a Question tab and you can get the answers to your retirement questions before they lead you down a precarious path. That's Heischman Financial Services at www.HeischmanFS.com. Or give them a call for a free consultation at 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177.
Life expectancy is at all-time highs, so that means you've got a future to plan for at any age. If you have longevity in your family tree, then you need financial education from someone with the experience and knowledge to guide you into and through your retirement years. Jon Heischman and the folks at Heischman Financial Services are committed to helping you achieve your retirement goals with a low-key and trustworthy approach. Call Heischman Financial Services today to get started on your retirement future. Call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Heischman Financial Services has your future in mind.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact John, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm Jon Heischman, your host. Prior to the break, I was discussing getting a second opinion from an advisor, and it also applies to interviewing advisors for your retirement planning. I think that is an excellent idea. If you can and have the time to interview 3 or 4, you'll more than likely find that advisor that you bond with, that you feel good about and trust. I want to give you some basic categories of financial advisors. And first, you have bank advisors. We all have had some experience with banks. We use them for checking accounts, savings, loans, credit cards, CDs, and money markets. A lot of banks today will have in-house advisors, or there may be an advisor that services 2 or 3, maybe 4 banks and can schedule a time to meet with you. You want to make sure they're independent and have the flexibility to put together any type of program that fits your needs and can do a retirement plan, not just direct you to products. There are security-only advisors, whereas Wall Street is a little bit different than banking, but their advisors have more in common with the bank advisors as far as securities are concerned. And I'd be willing to bet that most of my listeners have worked with a securities only for the primary reason of investing for growth, but in many cases don't or aren't allowed to write insurance-based plans. CPAs could be another source of financial advisors because many today have extended their practice to include financial advice. Typically, the CPA is one of the most trusted advisors, which I think has allowed them to extend their practice into planning. Then you're going to have what we call captive advisors. Some financial advisors are mandated to recommend whatever their employer dictates. A lot of banks and security-only advisors may fall into this category. Captive simply means they can only offer products and services that the bank or firm will allow. A lot of times they're employees of the bank or security firm and could be restricted as to the options available. So that's a good question to ask and find out. There are also insurance advisors, which fall into, I'm going to say, 2 different categories. One being a captive agent. Another would be an independent agent. Once again, a captive agent, they're employees of a particular insurance company, which means they can only sell products from that one company. There's nothing wrong with captive agents. However, what I've seen over the many years that I've been in this business, there is no one company that can offer all the different planning tools that could be needed in a retirement plan. Independent insurance agents, typically they're self-employed contractors. they have the ability to choose which insurance companies that they want to represent. They could have 20 or more companies, and in some cases, they could also be licensed to sell securities. This being the case, it gives them even greater flexibility when it comes to giving you the best advice for your particular situation. Another category would be independent advisors. This group of financial professionals have what I call a unique advantage. They typically are licensed and trained in both insurance and securities, enabling them to offer you the entire universe of financial solutions. It wouldn't be a bad idea to interview advisors from several of these categories, or if you really have time, all of these categories. If you're getting a second opinion, some of the topics that will be discussed would be check beneficiary designations on all retirement accounts and life insurance policies to make sure they're up to date. Review the downside potential of all of your investments to make sure it doesn't exceed your risk tolerance, which there should be a risk tolerance test. Check for hidden fees and loads that could erode the investment savings over time. Make sure you're taking full advantage of tax-deferred and tax-free IRA strategies, and to help you avoid unnecessary taxes and IRS penalties. Using the wrong or untrained advisor can be worse than having no advisor at all. The challenge is seeking an advisor that has the training, the knowledge and skills to help you get the maximum benefit from your retirement plans. And by all means, don't rule out referrals, either from family, co-workers, friends, or any associations that you're affiliated with. Couple of things as far as tips that I think will help you choose the right advisor and obtaining a second opinion. Ask a lot of questions. The ideal IRA and investment advisor should be able to answer any questions you have about structuring your plan and assisting with rollovers. And I don't think you should base your decision solely on the advisor's experience. Don't get me wrong, experience is a good thing to look for in an advisor, but experience alone isn't going to tell you whether this is the right advisor for you and your planning. Questions to ask. What training do you have in IRA distribution planning? Do you have a copy of IRS publication 590? Are you familiar with all the areas of retirement and estate planning? What happens to my IRA at death? The death of a beneficiary, or if one of the beneficiaries gets a divorce. Do you use the team approach? Meaning, do you work with attorneys and CPAs? Can you work with my attorney and CPA, or provide one that is affiliated with your practice? And here's a bonus question for you. Has your current advisor adequately explained the importance of IRA tax traps and opportunities that are available? And speaking of tax traps, they are explained in the book that I sponsor, Top 10 IRA Mistakes, How to Avoid IRA Tax Traps. It's yours for the asking. I'll have that sent to you right away. There's not a cost involved and definitely no obligation. You can order the book by calling 888-426-0177. That number again is 888-426-0177. It's been very popular. Many of my listeners have their copy. Last week I received a new supply, so we have plenty. Just call 888-426-0177. In summary, take your time. Interview multiple advisors. Schedule a time to visit their office and look for the things that I talked about this morning. And it also applies to getting a second opinion of your current planning. I enjoy bringing the Safe Money and Retirement Show to you each week, and I welcome your feedback, your questions, and concerns, and I'm willing to help in any way. Be sure to tune in next week. I'll have some new information on retirement planning. This is your host, Jon Heischman.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.